Hey, this is Jason Hulls, and
I'm Chad Burns.
we are the Con Men. This is our inaugural episode. We are at WindyCon 40 in Lombard, Illinois, at the beautiful Westin. And Chad,
Very wet.
Chad, what are we doing here? What are we even doing here?
The whole mission statement behind the Con Men is we were wanting to show what it's like inside the sci-fi con from the fandom perspective.
So, what exactly is going on here?
I am Dr. Horrible.
What got you involved with the idea of cosplay in the first place?
Well, I went to a convention back in college, and I just loved watching everyone in costume, either anime, sci-fi, everything like that. And I'm like, all right, I have to do that. I enjoyed just conglomerating everything. So you got different elements, and I had to do a bunch of strange searches, because you can't just search for doctor gloves, or you can't just search for, red lab coat, because it just doesn't work. So you have to search, you have to do research for different terms. Like, this is apparently a Howie jacket.
So is the NSA now paying attention to you because of what you've done here today?
Not only because of this, but for a variety of other reasons, yes.
My name's Jason Hulls, and I got into comics and gaming probably about the age of 12. I remember my parents had just split, and my brother and I were going back and forth a lot between two different households. And I remember that my brother and I always used to get comics from this one gas station.
When I was about 6.5, 7 years old, my dad took me to see this movie that today he still calls The Star War. And then the movie started with that big crawl across the screen, and everything stopped. And it never happened again. I just sat there. Spent the next couple of years just collecting everything I could about the toys. The Millennium Falcon, every figure I could. I had so many hissy fits. And I got so many spankings in grocery stores and stuff because I refused to leave without the toy.
Frank, what do people need to know?
I think people need to know that being at conferences like the science fiction convention or the comic conventions that are all over the place, I think they need to know what an absolutely spectacular time it is. It is fun. It is unresponsible. We don't need to worry about our problems. It's a place we can check our crap at the door and just enjoy ourselves with people of like interests.
You've got a very colorful shirt. Who is on this shirt, as if we don't know?
This is a painting by Frank Frazetta, and this is a cover picture that he painted for a 1970s release of the paperback series of Robert E. Howard's Conan the Barbarian.
Conan is not afraid to punch a camel and then get spit upon by a camel.
Correct. None of that grosses him out. He's a Sumerian, for God's sake. Buying the shirt for the extraordinary amount of $50 was part of what a donation to the Foundation for Frazetta and the museum that's being set up in Pennsylvania for his work.
One last question. In this day and age, in this political climate, what does Crom laugh at?
Everything.
Gaming I got into maybe even a little bit earlier. I've been into it for a long, long time. My favorite game historically was Dark Conspiracy. I have played all kinds. I mean, your classic D&D and I've got books, game books I've never even played. I'm sure a lot of people do. My favorite comic nowadays, I like Saga a lot. I like East of West a lot. Yeah, I think I've just gone for the stuff that's a little bit more far out, that just kind of speaks to where my brain's at usually.
I mean, I went from films directly into comics. You did your standard, Amazing Spider-Man, all your superhero guys. Then the X-Men came along about the same time as my pimples for me. Kingdom Come, Emerald Knights. I wandered into gaming probably in my teens. Traditional past, I came in through D&D and rapidly left it. I ended up settling in C-Punk. I've gamed pretty much my entire life. I mean, even when I was in the military and I was deployed to some of the most unfriendly spots on the planet, you still find gamers. And one thing that keeps you sane when the whole world is burning down is to sit there and try to burn the entire world down in a game. It makes it culpable.
To Write Love on Her Arms is a nonprofit movement dedicated to presenting hope and finding help for people who are struggling with depression, addiction, self-injury, thoughts of suicide, as well as a number of other mental health struggles. And the way that we do that is in our mission statement we mention encouragement, inspiration, informing, and then also investing financially directly into treatment and recovery. And we do that through a number of different things. We have a university chapters program on college campuses. We have a program called The Storytellers on high school campuses geared toward educating, but also kind of getting to people when these issues seem to start manifesting. Additionally, we invest directly into treatment and recovery and find local resources in cities all over North America for treatment and recovery counseling, rehab, that sort of thing.
This is the first time I've personally ever seen an organization like this at a convention.
Yeah, so this is actually the first convention we've been at.
Do you have any contact information you'd like to give out, a website?
Yeah, we do. Our website is actually the acronym of our name, so it's TWLOHA, twaloha.com. And we also have an online store, and that's store.twaloha.com. Most of our fundraising actually comes from the sale of our merchandise. So.
Okay, great. Thank you. So I'm here with a pretty dangerous looking guy. I don't even know how to pronounce your name, I'm guessing. So why don't you tell us what it is?
My Klingon name is Marak Veshai Takul.
So I'm going to go with Mark.
I'm a member of the Klingon Assault Group. I'm the captain of the ship called the IKS Spirit of Honor, which is a local fan group. I'm also a member of the crew of the IKV Hosham, which is part of Klingon Armada International, another fan club, both international. We're here in support of the play that we work with, Klingon Christmas Carol, and as well as to promote Klingon fandom. The play itself runs from November 30th to December 29th. That's at the Raven Theater. That's in the city on Lincoln Avenue. As far as fandom, you can contact us at cag.org or go to our other website for Klingon Armada International.
So if I were new and I wanted to get involved in Klingon fandom, what would be the first couple steps I would take?
The first step would be to come to conventions with us, join our club at cag.org, or go to the Klingon Armada website and sign up for either one. The things that we offer is we teach you how to make costumes, how to do Klingon makeup. We have language experts if you want to learn how to speak Klingon.
Can you give us something in Klingon that's somewhat PG?
Hegelmeth kach jajvam.
Which means?
Today is a good day to die.
Are you actually trying to take over the convention, or are you content with the real estate you've got?
Well, we're Klingons. We're never content. We conquer.
I'm here with Judy Jetton of Mensa. How did you become involved with WindyCon?
I was actually recruited, and WindyCon about 8 years ago. I was upstairs with all the room parties, and I was chatted up by a lovely Mensa in a utility kilt, who suggested I might want to join Mensa, and I'd always thought about it. So when I got on the board of directors for Chicago area Mensa, we are trying to expand our membership, and so I thought where better to recruit members but where I was recruited.
I consider myself a decently intelligent person.
Okay.
What would that test look like if I were to sit down and take it?
Well, actually, you can go to the American Mensa website. There's sample tests that you can get and sample questions that you can take just for fun. It's not about knowledge. It's about reasoning ability and just basic intelligence. I actually got in with my SAT scores because you don't necessarily have to take the test if you're not confident. So there are other ways to get in besides just taking the test.
I'm gonna have to see what I can do. I don't know. I might get shut out of the party.
We actually have a gaming event in January. It's called Agog, a gathering of gamers, and everybody is welcome to that. So you don't have to be a member to come to that. And it's kind of a try us before you buy us opportunity for people to come in and meet us and play just hundreds of games, food all weekend, 24 hours a day, werewolf until the wee hours of the night and morning. Super, super fun.
I'm gonna see what I can do. You may never see me again, but I hope so too.
Why am I here? I don't know. Why is anybody here? It's just a great time. Get to talk to people with the same interests as you. I talked to some guy last night. We went through the catalog of all the LucasArts Star Wars games from our childhood, and he played every one of them. I've never met anybody who's played every one of them. And, you know, I was just walking and know stuff like that's going to happen here. So this is like, it's like a vacation.
Now, why'd you choose to go for and volunteer?
To help the system along, get to meet the people here, see how, I mean, sort of just to see how it works from, you know, behind the scenes, see what goes into it.
You find it a different dichotomy between the Star Trek cons versus
the more generalized cons like WindyCon?
Every one of them is unique. Every one of them to me is so distinguishable from the others. The only thing, the gaming room. You could expect to find the same thing everywhere.
Okay, so we're here with John Kaufman, a convention goer. What got you involved in fandom, in the convention circuit? How did you first get started?
It's a lot of fun, and a lot of people from different walks of life and such, whether it's Star Trek, Star Wars, Babylon 5, Doctor Who, or a Paul Anderson book, or a whatever kind of sci-fi and fantasy. It's equal opportunity. So, no one's excluded, and it's a lot of fun, and we really enjoy ourselves. It's a nice stress reliever from the day-to-day operations of our job, whatever you do for a job.
What the con means to me is substance over style. You see a lot of con coverage. You see a lot of cameras at cons covering cons, especially at your larger commercial cons like your Comic-Cons and your C2E2s. But what you generally don't see in those coverages are the people that are actually there for the con. You're seeing presentations from the people who are rolling out new products. You're seeing talking heads talking about their latest movie. Every con is slightly unique. And what I'm hoping that we can show is the con from the inside, and to show the power of fandom and how important we are to each other and how we drive community.
The con men, to me, is an exploration of that culture that I feel like I've been a little part of for a long time. I always just had a really great time. So for me, it's going to be a lot of fun just sort of exploring that group of people, exploring that genre. Hopefully we'll get some great stories.